All right, let's get out to Carly Moore now. We've got her connected. Carly, so where are you in relationship to the front entrance of that school, and what are you seeing right now?
Kirk, Ashley, so we are right along Colfax here. You can see this large police presence that Skyfox has been showing you from the air. It's a lot of police cars. You also mentioned that ambulance. I can see that from my vantage point as well. This is right here along Colfax and Elizabeth Street. Colfax, as Drew was wondering, is still open at this time. Traffic slow moving. Obviously, I think a lot of people are trying to look here on this scene and see exactly what's going on. But we don't know a lot at this point. We know 2 adult victims, and it looks like some police are just now pulling up. You hear those sirens coming up here. It does look like possibly an undercover officer pulling up to the scene at a very quick speed. Obviously, this is a very intense situation. We're unclear exactly what's going on at this point. We do know 2 adult victims have been found here at this scene after a shooting reported at the school. Obviously, the scene happening right in the school parking lot area, kind of in this little roundabout. That's where all of these law enforcement officers are staged. You can hear those sirens still pulling up as unmarked and marked law enforcement vehicles continue to pull up here. Again, Colfax still open at this time, but there is obviously a presence that police are trying to make sure the school is safe. We also have been mentioning that the suspect is nowhere to be found at this point. We don't know who that person is, whether it's a student, whether that's an adult. We do know 2 adult victims, but they do say the number of victims in this case is still unknown other than those 2. So we're out here. I see a lot of also people pulling up, looking at their phones, obviously probably concerned parents in the area. So we're going to, of course, keep you up to date. And I'm going to work on getting some more answers for you about exactly what's going on. But as you can see, there are a few people wearing backpacks kind of hanging out near this crime tape now. Unsure if these are students. They are wearing backpacks, though. You can see investigators putting up more crime tape there off to the right side, trying to kind of block off people from coming into that area. So obviously really concerning at this point right now. We'll continue to ask questions and bring you more as soon as we get it.
All right, and Carly, we're hearing the ATF is now on scene, federal agency to help investigate this. I'm assuming we don't know that for sure, but they are apparently on scene. And that area that they're taping off. So is it, because it wasn't clear, we couldn't tell earlier just by looking at the live feeds. Is it very clear now that you're out there, Carly, that that is in fact where police are primarily focusing right now? Are there any other investigations happening elsewhere, or is that it?
So this is still kind of the same area, it appears. It looks like they've just extended the crime tape. So it was more off to the left side, but they have just kind of elongated the crime tape more to this left side, which is really blocking off the entire campus of East High School at this point. So it appears it's the same area that they're investigating. They're just trying, I believe, to keep some people out who are coming here. Either maybe they're coming back to head to class or something, but they're just trying to keep people out of the scene at this point.
Distance, any parents trying to roll in or anybody, you know, trying to ask questions to law enforcement right now?
So I do see a few people on their phones right now. Some of them do look like they could be parents, but obviously this is a very busy street here right along Colfax, so there's not really any room for people to stop and pull over or kind of, you know, rush in at all. Also, Kyle, if you want to, my photojournalist here, if you want to point over to the blockage, you know, there, like I mentioned, this U shape right in front of the school, that's also blocked. So no one is allowed to, parents or otherwise, allowed to pull into this U-shaped area. So that's why some people are just walking in at this point. So obviously really concerning. I don't see, you know, as far as any parents or anything stepping out of their cars or asking any questions to officers at this point, but of course we'll continue to be on it and get those answers for you.
Well, and Carly, you've been out, you know, in this area before. It's certainly not a closed campus. I mean, anybody can pull up, drive down the road, and walk out there. But you know, it is a sizable campus, including the football field and kind of all the stuff that goes along there. You wouldn't normally see people in that area right in front of the school unless they were students or somehow affiliated with the school, right?
It's hard to tell, Kirk, because, you know, we have the Twist and Shout kind of record store right across the street. There's a Chipotle, you know, there's another kind of bar restaurant area right across the street. So, I mean, assuming that people are not going to those establishments, we assume that they would be here for the school, but it's just hard to tell because it's just such a busy area in general.
All right, Carly Moore giving us a live update from the scene as you work to continue to get new development.